push through bar long and short. Our intermediate exercises, we do 3 to 5 repetitions. Push through long is good for stretching the spine. Push through short is going to strengthen the powerhouse in flexion. Individual needs, we're going to be selecting these exercises for students who need to work on seated posture, students who have tight hamstrings and back, or students who have weak abdominals. The setup for the exercise is the push-through bar loaded with a top spring. To set the student up, they're going to sit with their feet against the poles with their legs straight. They hold the push-through bar with their hands about shoulder width apart, thumbs opposing the fingers. The initiation for this exercise starts at the pelvis. Let's look at push-through long first. The student will curl the pelvis underneath them, pulling the bar back as if they were trying to lay their sacrum onto the mat. Next, they press the bar down, keeping their arms straight, and curl forward into a deep C curve. Then, the student will pull their tail underneath them, trying to lay their pelvis on the mat again, and then lift the bar up, growing their crown up into the arms, pulling the ribs up off to the hips, and a nice stretch at the top. Let's look at push-through short. The student will again begin by curling the tail underneath them and bringing the bar down to the point where they feel the most tension on the bar. From here, they will push down and curl as far forward as possible and then roll back, returning to that same point of pressure, and press and curl. They're going to do about 8 to 16 short dynamic presses in the short. The only thing still in this exercise will be the legs. The elbows and the wrists also remain still and straight. Let's look at precision points now. The collarbones are going to remain broad, and we keep the shoulders in the joint for the duration of the exercise. As the student moves through the exercise, the push-through bar will gently roll through their fingers, so they need a soft grip to allow the bar to turn in their hands with neutral wrists and straight elbows. It's important to keep the head and the neck lengthening out of the spine and shoulders as they press. This exercise is really drawn from the pelvis, so the C curve stays lifted, maximizing the space between the ribs and the pelvis throughout. The rhythm on the long is very smooth, with a slight pause at the top and a slight pause at the bottom to emphasize the stretch. In push-through short, it's quick, powerful, and dynamic. Common errors. Students will be elevating their shoulders to push up, losing their neck. You may also see their shoulders come up so far that it presses the head forward and out of alignment. When they come forward as well, they have a tendency to push from the arm instead of stretch from the spine. So again, here you're going to see a loss of the neck and a bunching across the shoulders. Another common error is to hinge instead of to roll the pelvis underneath. So they simply lean back and press forward, collapsing into the abdominals, instead of really holding their powerhouse and rolling their pelvis to drive this motion. So the pelvis should be moving around the femurs. Lastly, they may bend their elbows as they come through this transition so that they're pushing from their arms instead of pushing from their upper powerhouse and their shoulder depressors. Let's look at this in real time. Push through long. Sit up nice and tall and draw your ribs up off your pelvis. Roll the tail back, laying onto the mat as you press the bar from the abdominals to stretch forward. Roll the tail underneath you to come back and lift up, lengthening your spine. Keep the bar lifted as you pull your tail underneath you and stretch forward, abs drawing back. Roll back, last time for long. Press up, growing tall at the top. Push through short. Roll back. Find your pressure and exhale to press forward and curl. Exhale, pressing from the abdominals. Strong, and hold it at the bottom. On roll, press the bar up, finishing with a long stretch. Specific spots for this exercise. When a student is new to this exercise, the teacher needs to keep their hand on the bar for safety to ensure the student doesn't lose their grip. Once they become comfortable with this, the teacher can use a guiding touch to help guide movement from the pelvis, or a moving away from touch can be helpful to keep the student lifted up into their C-curve. Signs of readiness. Students need to be able to maintain a C-curve for this exercise, as seen in spine stretch forward, the roll-up, and they also need to be able to roll their pelvis. We would see this in exercises like roll back, the roll-up, and push down on the chair. Building blocks for this would be to bend the knees and move the student a little bit forward to accommodate tight hamstrings, or have them sit up on a small wedge. You can also decrease the range of motion, making it more accessible for your tighter bodies.